Welcome back to Deep Speak with Brother Sadiq. A little frustrated tonight. Like I said, I am not tech savvy, so I have been having all types of difficulties with my camera and getting this all to work. Well, anyway, where were we? Where will we be? We will be talking about another step in the spiritual progression, right? So, when I was 14, still living in Detroit, my mom would send me in the summer times out to Evansville, Indiana. My aunt lived there. She had a big house, and I had two cousins there. She used to have a garden in the back, and we would go to the lake, to the river. We did a lot of fishing, so I enjoyed going there. Anyway, she was deep into the church, so she spent a lot of time at church. And when I was 14, I got baptized by my own choice and volition through my own study, listening to the preacher man, basically. And I got baptized in the river, the Ohio River, during an event called Thunder on the Ohio, which is speedboat racing. And so from 14 until about 17, I lived as a Christian. Um, and when I was about 17, um, before 17, actually, I had he's a rapper. His name is Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim. Rakim, all praises due to Allah. That was one of his lines in his, in one of his verses. And he had this flag in one of his videos. It was not the paid in full video. It was the Move the Crowd video. It was a black and gold flag that I researched in my mom's encyclopedias that she had. And I could not find this flag, which just heightened my curiosity. And so over time, um, I picked up details here and there, learned a little bit about the 5% nation. That's a spiritual equation I'll explain. 85% of this is the idea. 85% of the masses of society are like sheeple, right? Um, the deaf, dumb, and blind, unaware. Uh, just kind of in the mix of whatever everyday life is. So that's the 85%. This is a spiritual equation. 85% of the deaf, dumb, and blind. 10% are the, I guess you could say, evil scientists who kind of rule society. Um, the money men, the hidden hand behind all of the things that rule the 85%. Then you have the 5% who have become conscious of their spiritual selves, and so they attempt to awaken and shine light on those who are in the 85%. So that was an equation I learned when I was about 17, and gradually moving me closer that way towards Islam. When I was in Job Corps, there was a guy, brother I met there, big dude, older than us. He used to, we wrestling and running around, having all types of chaotic events. It's the weekend, so we had little staff in Job Corps. This is Gokanda, Illinois. Um, we running around acting wild as can be. This is in 91, 91. And my man, like I said, music playing, mugs wrestling, flipping over the beds, just chaos. And he in the middle of all of this reading a book. So that just took me aback. I'm like, bro, you know, I'm in the middle of the chaos too. I'm part of the chaos. So but I see him like sitting here reading, and I'm just tripping. Like, how are you reading? So I go over and I crack and I ask him, bro, I ain't in your business, but how can you sit here and read in the middle of all of this? And he like, oh, this is what I do. I can't let everything be a distraction. I got it. This is my study time. I'm like, okay, I feel you. And it was Friday night, I assume. Friday night, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, he started telling me about the book. And he like, you never seen this book? I'm like, no, never seen it. and it was a religious book. It looked to me to be a religious book, like a religious text. And so, um, but no, I had never seen it. It was a large green book, and he said, "This is the Holy Quran." That's what it is. And so he started teaching me about the Holy Quran and where it came from. And then he showed me that there were stories in the Quran about Jesus and Mary. And so that really sparked my attention, right? Okay, because, that's how I became a Christian. Jesus was a revolutionary. So that's what made me want to become baptized. So when I realized that Jesus is also talked about in other texts, that was exciting. So eventually, me and the brother would study from time to time, and what I discovered that is he's a black peace stone. Okay, this is I guess one of the original sets from back in the day related to the Black Stones. Black Panthers. Okay, so the P is Black Panther Stone Nation, as far as I understand. Anyway, got schooled by that brother, and got deep into the literature. Whether probably unbeknownst to most people, these sets in Chicago and probably all over the country, they have laws, they have rules, they have literature, they have regulations, they have standards in which they live by, in which they teach, share, and carry. So I got deep in the literature, and I was blessed into the set to be a Black Peace Stone. So, this all happened in 1991, but the fact of the matter is, that's not the common way you become a part of a set. But I was a seeker. I was a knowledge seeker. So the fact of the matter that's what was most important to me is what that brother brought me in under his wing. You know what I mean? To accept that style of living, to accept that organization and be accepted by that organization. But what that eventually led to, is Islam. Islam, because the literature is from the Quran. A lot of it is from the Quran. That's what he said. He said, I don't even look at this like, a gang or a street organization. I look at this like a religion. And this is how the brother taught me. So that's how I came into it. And it led me, like I said, to Islam. And so when I was 23, I had my first son, and I took my Shahada, and I became a Muslim, and I got married all in the same year. And so for Christians, they may think, well, oh, that's crazy. How you become a Muslim after you was a Christian? Well, the fact of the matter for me, I understand in my studies is that God has been speaking to us since. Okay, we'll just say this. We'll go from the Torah. Okay, if you were a studier of the Torah and you were Jewish when Jesus came along, then you should have become a follower of Jesus. And if you were a follower of Jesus when the Prophet Muhammad came along, then you should also have become a follower of Muhammad, and now Islam will be your religion. So that is my understanding of the progression of those religions. Now, I found later on that there are others who believe this. In fact, there is a religion called the Baha'i Faith who also understands this as a progression, like chapters in a book. Okay, so you have Judaism, you have Christianity, you have Islam. And so those are just chapters in a book. But that is also a part of my spiritual experience, and it's something that I wanted to share. And I thought that it was important for me to share that because it gives me a perspective that's, I think I have a very unique perspective. I have lived as a Muslim, I have lived as a Christian. I lived thugged out in Detroit City, and I lived as a businessman in small town Bloomington, Indiana. So, college town, Indiana. So I think I have a unique perspective on society, and through some of my other contacts and connections, I will share more shortly about what this program that I was given entails. So that's what this is ultimately about. It's not about convincing anybody of anything of that I've done or what I know or who I am. I think what this really is about is connecting with those who already know. This is not about teaching. This is about connecting with those who are already in the know. Not to convince anybody of anything, but to share my experience because I believe there is a commonality in the path. So those who have some kind of connection to what I am saying, some of those of you who relate, I think we are all supposed to be connecting and contacting and coming together. And so I'm doing my duty by sharing my story, and I will explain further what this all will lead to. You know, there is a culminating intention behind this. It is not just for a show. So, peace, blessings, prosperity, light, and love to all of you. And please share, comment, like, and I will see you soon. Peace and blessings.